Guess what, everybody? In today's video, yet again, I have another OEM desktop gaming case transfer. This time, it's a Dell Inspiron 3647 small desktop. But before that, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe down below, and thank you for watching. Okay, now, so let me go over this Dell Inspiron 3647 small desktop before I start taking everything out and transferring into a gaming case. Now, I recently came across this desktop for only $20 on the local Craigslist. There was a little catch to it, but because of its specs, it really interested me a lot. And I did some research, and this is a perfect candidate for a nice gaming case transfer. Now, the catch was that this computer here did not come with a side panel. Now, but since I already did the research and I saw the motherboard is fully compatible for transfer, I definitely not going to use this case anymore, so that was okay. Also, it only came with 2 gigs of RAM and only a dual core Pentium processor. Now, by the way, this is a 4th generation platform Intel, and after doing some research, at least off the bat, I knew you could upgrade this to an i3, but I wanted to know if I could upgrade this to an i5. And you know what? Yes, you can. So this video will answer all your questions you ever wanted to know about this specific desktop. Yes, you could transfer it into a gaming case, and yes, if you have a lower end processor like a dual core or an i3, you could transfer it, you could upgrade it to an i5. Now, in this case, I was able to upgrade to i5 4570, and that's not even a lower wattage. Now, no lower wattage processor, because I know this dual core is around 50 watts or something like that TDP. So that was the big issue. I wasn't sure, but luckily it worked. And of course, I always recommend to update your BIOS. So I updated to the latest BIOS. I think it was even recent too for this, believe it or not, like a 2019 update. It was the last one. And off the bat, I put in that i5 4570. And you know what? It booted right up with no issues. I went into Windows. So that's the good news. So this platform is upgradable. Now, in some other cases, maybe yours will come already with an i3. I think i3 is enough for this platform, or even an i5 in some cases. But in this case, I originally came with a dual core. I did the processor upgrade, and now I'm going to transfer everything into a gaming case. So now I'm going to take everything out and show you everything. So stay tuned for that. So here are all the parts that I took out of the computer, and let me go over everything here that we're going to keep. So as you can see, here's the motherboard. Once again, it's a very nice IO shield, all black. It comes right out. That's excellent, especially when you put it in a nice gaming case. Here is your Bluetooth / Wi-Fi card. Very good. It works really good. And here are your Wi-Fi wires that you take off the case of the original desktop. Definitely keep those. And I'll show you at the end how everything's going to look. Also, here is the DVD drive. Really depends on what kind of build you're going to have. You could always keep that too. And here I have everything kind of hooked up this time. I just wanted to show you. As you could see, this motherboard takes your standard 24-pin connection and a 4-pin motherboard connection right there. So it is compatible to any power supply. And in this build, I'm really going to go budget and use this cheap 400-watt power supply because just wanted to keep this budget build. You're more than welcome to use any power supply you like. And of course, the better power supply, the better graphics card you could put in. And what else? I have 2 sticks here of 4 gigs of RAM each, for total for 8. I believe this motherboard does go up to 16, but I'm going to stay with 8. Also, keeping the same CPU cooler, since this is not an overclockable motherboard. Once I clean this up, because I did upgrade the processor to the 4570, So this is more than enough. Once I clean it up, it's going to be nice and cool. New thermal paste. It is using a standard motherboard 4-pin connection. Come on, there it is. So it's not a proprietary fan. Very good. I guess there is a way, I'm sure, to put a nicer fan here. Maybe a tower cooler, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste time with that. Now, here is the unfortunate thing that I'm having a little issues as far as the pinout. They did a little, you know, a little security thing here, which is annoying, and I'm disappointed. So this is the power, power button off the case. Right now I have everything connected the way it is. And it has a little sensor, unfortunately, connected to this thing. Let me zoom in for you guys so you could understand. Because there's either one or two ways to go about it. I'm not too thrilled. But this is a very important part. So what happens is, if I go ahead and, take this out and do my usual test on the motherboard. Let me see if I have the power on. It's on. And give it my usual test on the motherboard, where I know already which pin is to start. It's the third set of pins going from right to left, going vertical, and I hit the power button there, and everything turns on, but it's not displaying any video. Because this pin header here has a little loop, I guess like a security loop, that Dell installed here, and it's annoying. See, I already tried to cut the empty space, but yours will be just a one solid piece. So there's a loop here. Let me see if I could zoom in better for you guys. And there's a way to get around this, not a big deal. Okay, there it is. See how there's like a loop? These are like pretty much, the left side is like dummy pins. Here is nothing really you're using, but there's a loop. And unfortunately, it's connected exactly where your power button is on this motherboard pinout. So what we're gonna do is, you see these two cables right here, this orange and blue. So you would go ahead and leave this whole, the way the pin is, have it plugged into the motherboard, transfer that over, and what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to cut these two pins and connect and cut the two pins, the header off the power cable that's coming off the aftermarket case, and just connect them together and put some electrical tape, and that's it. And that will allow me to just turn on and off the computer. Another way to do is you get rid of everything and you pull this wire here right out of there and pull it out completely, and somehow try to stick it into the power connector that's coming from your aftermarket case. So that's another option, and you of course leave this part on to the side for the sensor. Right here will be plugged in. So that's really two ways to do it. And once it's all done, I'm gonna really go over the way I'm gonna do it. But I was a little bit disappointed about that, because I guess the sensor has to be plugged in, and this is what I'm gonna show you right here really quick. Watch this. Okay, so it's all connected now, and I'm gonna go ahead and press power. Wait. Okay, ready? And there you have it. I just turned the power on, and like magic, it's gonna go ahead and post. That's what I just want to show you here real quick. there it is. And also to show you the processor indeed is an i5-4570. Yes, on this little tiny motherboard, and the latest BIOS is A11. So yeah, that's it. All there's left to do is for me to incorporate this bad boy into a nice little gaming case, and then just go over the wiring one more time. So stay tuned for that. It's finally finished. Yet another OEM Dell desktop transferred into a gaming case. Now, before I get into the most important part of this transfer, which is the front panel pinout, let me go over the total system specs that I used to make this budget build. So, for the case, I used a Roswell FBM-X1 ATX mini tower, and this is a pretty good budget one, only $30, and it does come with a window panel, along with a 400 watt Roswell basic switch and power supply. No frills at all. This is a very low wattage system here. It does not come with any 6 or 8 pin adapters for the graphics card, and that's why I went with a low powered graphics card. Old GTX 750 Ti 2GB version does not require any additional power connection to it, and perfect for this low wattage build. Now again, you guys could choose anything you want, as big of a power supply, as big of a case, and as a more powerful graphics card. That's really up to you, but the overall concept here I think you will understand, and that's the key here. So next, remember I did upgrade the processor to an i5-4570, big jump from a dual core Pentium that originally came with this OEM desktop, and it's working perfectly. I always do recommend to upgrade the BIOS. It has the latest BIOS, which is A11. Also upgraded the RAM to 8 gigs of DDR3 1600 megahertz. And I did change the fans in this case. Rear blue LED 80mm fan and a 120mm blue LED fan in the front to give it a little razzle dazzle. Next, I did utilize the Wi-Fi card / Bluetooth that came with this desktop. Very good feature. That saves you a lot of money right there. This little desktop came already with a lot of stuff you need, which is fantastic. As you could see, I did the wiring through the back to give it a nice clean look. Everything is working. The Wi-Fi works good. Bluetooth works well. And also, I did utilize the front audio adapter that comes with every case. It's fully compatible with this motherboard, no issues at all. And this motherboard, this particular one, does not support front panel USB 3.0, so I was using only the 2.0, which this case came with. So that's something to keep in mind. This particular motherboard does not have the connection for the front panel USB 3.0, which is not a big deal. You still have a couple of 3.0s in the back. And it looks like this motherboard has some pattern for it to be installed. Maybe a higher end version of this model, Dell 3640, 37, whatever it was, the model was. Maybe it does come with it, maybe yours will come with it, but this particular one does not, so it's not a big deal. And once again, this motherboard supports any standard aftermarket power supply, no adapters necessary, 24 pin on the right, 4 pin on the left. No issues at all. The biggest issue with this build here, this transfer, is the front panel pinout, and that's what I'm going to go into the next here and zoom in and kind of give you. This is a very important part, so please pay attention. So stay tuned for that. So here we are finally at the very end. Let me go over the wiring. So on the left side, we have the front panel audio connected, which is a standard connection that will work with any aftermarket case. Plug it right in, it works like a charm. On the top right here, I am using a front panel USB 2.0 connection. Again, it's a standard connection that will work with any aftermarket case. No problem there either. And also, as you can see, I'm using the Wi-Fi / Bluetooth card that came with this Dell motherboard. It's an excellent feature and it saves a lot, especially on your budget. You don't have to wait, spend extra money on Wi-Fi adapter or anything like that. And the wire goes down below and right on the side in the back for a nice clean look. Alright, so as you could see, I did remove the the hard drive and the graphics card to give you a better look here, because with all that I wouldn't be able to show you, especially the front panel connection, and that's the most important thing. So in the short story here, before I explain a little bit further, you're gonna have to use the original, I believe it's a 10-pin adapter that comes right off the motherboard in the original Dell that you're going to transfer from. You're going to go ahead and just move that over along with this motherboard. And I have everything hidden in the back for a nice look. So, let's just give you an idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, this whole piece here, let me unplug it. So yeah, you're gonna have to utilize this because there's a couple of jumpers and sensors in there, whatever it is, that won't allow you to do certain things. How clever by Dell. So they made it. So as you could see, I cut this power SW wire and I incorporated with the gaming case wire. It's very simple. It's probably the easiest thing to do. And then once that's done, you plug in the your 10-pin adapter, and that's it, and you're ready to go. Why? Because of this loop here. It's a jumper loop, and I try to do different things, and here I have it split a little bit up, but you won't. You just don't even mess with that. Just plug it right in. Let me see if I could get a better view here. Yep. But yours will be like this, all in one shot. So you see how the jumper is? It actually connects to the power SW. So even when you take everything out and you plug in all the pinout is very simple for this, and it was easy to find on Google. So it's a standard pinout, everything makes sense, but unfortunately you're going to have to use these jumpers. And this jumper actually will have to be connected inside with the power SW. Otherwise the computer would turn on but not give you any video. And I did all the research for you guys so you don't have to waste time. So the bottom line is, you're gonna have to do that. Give yourself a little extra slack. Look how much slack, probably like 8 to 10 inches. You cover this up with electrical tape. And you go ahead, do the same thing with the front panel SW power here. Again, I give a really good slack, and keep this wire for the future. If you're ever going to use a different motherboard, you go back to, you could just tape these up together. It's very simple. If you're doing a transfer, then you know already how easy it is to do. You strip the wires, you tie them up together. So one thing I could tell you is, it's the orange and the blue wire that you're gonna mess with. And the blue wire connects to the black wire of the power SW, and the orange wire connects to the gray wire. So I'm pretty sure that all the aftermarket cases, they have two colors when it comes to power SW, a gray and black. So that just gives you an idea. Once again, it's going to be blue wire connects to the black, and the orange wire in this case connects to the gray. And don't worry much about that, because connect them first, turn it on, make sure it turns on when you hit the power button on the side here or wherever it might be. And then if it turns on, then you got it. If it doesn't, then just switch the wires back, and then that's it. And then you just switch them if you made a mistake. It's really not a big deal. It'll take just a couple of minutes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then look, after you do that, very simple. Again, mine is a little loose because I was trying to bypass all these jumpers, but there's nowhere to do it. I tried everything. Even with the jumper and you're using other wires on the right, it still gives you an error for system fan, which this motherboard doesn't even have a system fan. But these guys, I tell you, they try to do some funny stuff here. Plugged it in. Look how neat that looks. Don't worry about all that wire. In my case, I have a little space in the back. You could hide it somewhere else for that cleaner look. And voila, just like that, you got yourself a fully blown computer. And let me just show you, might as well. I'm gonna plug this in, zoom out. Let me go back a little bit for you guys. So I just plugged it in. Power on, and here it is. Boom. See that? No problem. Yes, some of you may ask, oh, what about the HD LED or power LED? No, well, unfortunately, with this transfer, you're not going to be really able to do that. So I would just stay with the on and off button, which is more than enough for a gaming case transfer. I mean, that's all you really need to. You could always put some extra LED fans and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it. There's my transfer in depth. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm gonna test out a few games like I usually do to see how well this transfer came out. So stay tuned for that. Please don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the like button. I really appreciate it. I have many other gaming OEM desktop gaming case transfers to come. There's a lot of other ones out there, so hopefully I'll get to another one of these days. So stay tuned. Here, really quickly, I'm just going to test out a couple of games on this newly built gaming computer. And as you could see, it's Resident Evil 2 Remake. Let's take a look at the settings. And you could see we're on 1080p full screen, almost at the 2 GB VRAM limit. And these are pretty much the settings that the computer automatically picked for me, except I took off the motion blur and stuff like that. So and these are the kind of figures we have. As you could see, the temperatures are really good on this gaming case transfer. The processor temperatures are pretty good, so is the graphics card, and I guess it's just enough power with the 400 watt power supply. Yeah, and the game is running really well. And you should be able to build something like this for around $100, which is quite reasonable. And also, those who are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button down below. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned for another video. I'm going to be putting up a video on the performance of the GTX 750 Ti in 2020. I think this card has still got a lot of juice left in it, and we'll see how well it does in other games. Alright, so let's give a try with another game. Alright, so if you made it this far in this video, this is the last game I wanted to test out really quick. This is Star Wars. Definitely visually impressive game, and not the easiest one to run. So let's take a look at the settings here. Full screen 1080p, and we are on medium settings. VSync off. Here's our visuals. Everything's on except motion blur. And we're getting pretty decent frame rates in here. Definitely playable game. Well, that'll do that will do it for today's video. Thank you for watching.
Go get yourself killed.
Please don't forget to subscribe down below, leave any comments, and I'll see you in another video.